Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Tilly and today I'm going to be filming a weekly reading vlog. So in this week's reading vlog, I'm going to be reading the books I got in subscription boxes during the month of May. So to start off this vlog, I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek as to what books I'm going to be reading this week. So first of all, we have the April Afterlight subscription, and that was The Prospects by Katie Hoffman. This is a really cute edition. I absolutely love the spray pages. I think they're so cute. So we've got a romance, which is definitely going to be well appreciated to cut through all of the fantasy. We have the FairyLoot Romantasy book for April, which is Law of the Wilds by Analeigh Sbrana. This is also the first ever FairyLoot Romantasy book, so it'll be interesting to see how this holds up and also how much romance is actually in the Romantasy book. And then we have the April Illumicrate, which is To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X Chang. The FairyLoot adult book, which is Evocation by St Gibson. And then lastly, the book that I think I'm going to start with, which is Darker by 4 by June C.L. Tan, which is the FairyLoot YA book for April. So as I said, this is the book that I'm thinking of starting with. So I thought I'd read you out the synopsis to get us started. Her magic was stolen, she'll do anything to get it back. Rui is an exorcist in training with one goal in mind, honing her magic to avenge her mother's death. Urine is the black sheep of an illustrious family. The world could be at his feet had he been born with magic. But when an accident causes Rui's power to transfer to Urine, everything turns upside down. Without her magic, Rui has no tool for vengeance. With it, Urine finally feels like he belongs. As dangerous monsters overrun the city, Rui will do whatever it takes to regain her power, even if that means making a deal with a shadowy stranger to track down a god who does not wish to be found. I do think this sounds really cool. I've heard a lot of really great things about this, primarily Lauren from Fiction Tea, who I know absolutely loved this one, so I'm really excited to give this one a read. As I'm filming this, it's the Monday of the early May bank holiday. I've had such a nice bank holiday. We had a lot of Tim's family round, having a look at the house for the first time and staying over. We had a lot of great food. We went to a Seven Bone, which is this really nice burger place which does really nice dirty burgers and loaded fries. And then yesterday we also went to Nando's, which was really nice. I haven't been to Nando's in a little while, so that was really good. And I got a sunset burger, which was one of my favourites. It was also really nice catching up with everyone. We also got to show them our local town because they've not visited before. And then in the evening we played lots of card games. So we played a game called Exploding Kittens, and then we also played Monopoly Deal, which was a lot of fun, and listened to music. We also got to see Tim's nephews, who are both quite young, so it was just really nice to see them as well. And then today we've mainly just been chilling. I've filmed quite a lot of videos. I think I filmed 4 videos today, which probably seems like quite a lot. Other than that, I've just been watching a lot of Race Across the World. I'm still massively addicted, and so I think I'm hopefully going to spend the majority of the evening reading, as I would like to make some progress in my reading this month. And yeah, I'll definitely come back to you and let you know my thoughts. Hi guys, happy Tuesday, back to work after the bank holiday. It's also supposed to be really warm here in the UK this week, which is really exciting. I do think that definitely everyone is in a better mood once the sun is out. In terms of a reading update, I started Darker by 4 last night and I'm now on page 202, so just over halfway through it. And I would say that I'm definitely enjoying it so far. I'm really enjoying the world and the characters. It's definitely giving me a major anime vibe. I think potentially because of the weapons they're using and the storyline. I think I may have guessed one of the plot twists potentially. Hi guys, it's now Wednesday, so I'm coming on here to tell you that I finished Darker by 4 last night, and I ended up rating this one 4 stars. I did end up really enjoying it. It still gave me massive anime vibes. I loved the characters, I loved the world. I did guess one of the plot twists, but then there was another plot twist that kind of took me a little bit by surprise, which was great. I desperately want the sequel to this. I'm hoping it will come out sometime soon, although I had a little look on Goodreads and nothing's been announced yet, so yeah, hopefully we get some news about a sequel soon. But if you're thinking about picking this one up, I would highly recommend. And then the next book that I'm thinking of picking up as part of this vlog is Law of the Wilds by Analeigh Sbrana. So this is the April FairyLoot Romantasy book, and this is actually their first ever Romantasy book, so it'll be interesting to see what this one is like. Like I said, this is the beautiful FairyLoot edition, so we've got some really beautiful sprayed pages, and I thought I'd quickly go through the synopsis. A library with a deadly enchantment, a Fae Lord who wants in, a human woman willing to risk it all for a taste of power. In a land ruled by ruthless Fae, 21-year-old Law Analeig's village is trapped in a forested prison. Law knows that any escape attempt is futile. Her scars are testament to her past failures. But when her village is threatened, Law makes a desperate deal with the Fae Lord. She convinces him that she will risk her life for wealth, but really she's after the one thing that Fae covet above all, magic of her own. As Law navigates the hostile world outside of her village, she's forced to rely on 2 Fae males to survive. When undeniable chemistry ignites, she's not just in danger of losing her life, but also her heart to the very creatures she can never trust. I am really excited to get to this one, so I will come back to you with an update. Happy Thursday. I keep getting the days wrong because of the bank holiday, but yesterday and today I've been reading Law of the Wilds and I've now finished it, and I have to say I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed the world, the magic system, the characters, the romance. It was just really good. There was also this massive plot twist at the end that I really did not see coming, which is always great when there's a big plot twist and the book just keeps making you guess. There's also, I don't think this is spoilers because it happens quite early on, but there's a magic book which for us book lovers is just absolutely so magical and whimsical, and yeah, I really enjoyed this one and gave this one 4 stars. Would highly recommend picking this one up. I know what a lot of people have been asking, because it is the first Romantasy book, is how spicy is it? I would say that there's only probably one spicy-ish scene within this, and yeah, I would say it was fairly spicy, so it definitely has a level of spice into it, so bear that in mind if that's something that you look out for. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with FairyLoot's first Romantasy book. So next I'm going to move on to quite possibly one of my most anticipated books of the year, which is Evocation by S.T. Gibson. I actually haven't read anything by S.T. Gibson before, so I haven't read A Dowry of Blood and I haven't read An Education in Malice, so I'm really intrigued to see how I get on with this one. I think it's my most anticipated because I think the synopsis sounds cool, and also, I mean, just look at it, it is such a beautiful book and I love the sort of tarot card feel of the book. But let me read out the synopsis so that I can tell you what this book is actually about. When a family curse threatens the life of David, a medium, he will turn to the only person he's ever trusted, his sorcerer ex-boyfriend Reese, which means he will have to open his heart to Moira, Reese's astrologer wife. Meet David, Reese and Moira for the first time as they navigate magic-riddled Boston through hierarchical secret societies, familial bonds from beyond the grave, and much more in this gorgeous, richly imagined novel. As I said, I am so excited to read this one, and I will definitely come back to you once I have some thoughts. Hi guys, happy Friday. I actually didn't get any reading done yesterday because I actually spent the majority of my night watching the new Taylor Swift set list for the Eras tour. If you're not aware, she's changed some stuff up to allow for the Tortured Poets to become part of the Eras tour, so I really kind of wanted to see what that meant, especially as I'm seeing her next month, which I am just so excited about. And yeah, watching part of the set list has made me even more excited, if that wasn't possible. So yeah, that is kind of how how I spent the majority of my night, as well as watching a little bit of booktube. So yeah, not a reading update for you, but I would like to do some reading tonight. Tim is also away for part of the weekend because it's getting into cricket season, so I will have an evening to myself where I'm potentially thinking of watching that new movie. I think it's called Anything But You or something like that. It's got Anne Hathaway in and I've heard really good things, so I think that is probably how I'm going to be spending my evening. So yeah, really excited to give that a watch. Hi guys, happy Saturday. I actually feel like the worst book vlogger ever because I actually didn't read anything yesterday either. I think I might have mentioned that cricket season has started for Tim, so he tends to be away from home on sort of like Fridays and Saturdays. So I had a chilled night in by myself. I watched The Idea of You, the new film with Anne Hathaway, and it was so good. I really enjoyed it. It had some stop motion elements, which really reminds me of when I did film studies at college. My final piece was all stop motion, so it definitely gave me those vibes. And yeah, it was such a nice, easy romance and I really did enjoy it. So if you're looking for a romance movie and you've not watched it, I would highly recommend. And then for the rest of the evening I ended up rewatching some of Bridgerton, ready for the new season, which I'm so excited about. So yeah, not much reading being done here. I think what I've decided to do is just to kind of keep filming until I've read the book subscription books, which means that it might go over a couple of weeks, so hopefully it won't be too long a vlog. I don't know how much b-roll I've actually got this week. Also, I'm really sorry if you can hear licking sounds. Luna, my cat, is currently licking herself in the background, so apologies if you can hear that. So plans for today is that my mum, gran and my grand sister are coming up to see the house. So I've spent the majority of my morning cleaning the house, getting it ready for them, so I'll be showing them around there, and then I think we're gonna head into town and grab some lunch, which will be really nice. I haven't actually seen my mum in a little while, so it'll be really nice to catch up with everyone. And then after that, like I say, I'm on my own for the majority of the day, so I'm not really sure what I'll do. Probably read. I really need to make some progress on my reading, as I said. I say I haven't read very much this week, but I have finished 2 books, which I think is not too bad going. But yeah, I'd definitely like to get some reading done today if possible. And also it's really nice and warm still here in the UK, so maybe go on a nice walk potentially, we'll see. And yeah, I guess just see where the day takes me. And yeah, I'll try and get some footage or update you guys. Although as you can imagine, it is quite difficult getting footage when I'm out and about with people, particularly my family. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's now Monday and I have quite a few updates for you. So yesterday I managed to get quite a lot of reading done. I spent the majority of the day on Beth from Book Nest's reading sprints. So yeah, like I said, I managed to get quite a lot achieved. So I ended up finishing Evocation by Gibson and I ended up rating it a 3.5 star. I did enjoy this one. I liked the characters. I thought the magic system was quite interesting and it was definitely a book that kept me guessing. However, I'm not entirely sure that the writing style was for me and it's making me a little bit more hesitant about picking up more Gibson books, but I am intrigued to give it more of a chance. I'm still undecided as to whether I'm interested in picking up the next book in the series. I guess, like I always say, it depends on what FairyLoot do with the second book in the series and whether I can resist buying it or not. I did find the romance in this quite interesting and something that I've not really read that kind of romance before, so that part I did really enjoy, and I definitely think the exploration of family within this is also quite good. good. But yeah, like I said, I'm not too sure about whether I'll pick up the sequel. I then picked up The Prospects by Katie Hoffman, which is the April Afterlight book, and unfortunately guys, I feel like I probably should have DNF'd this one as I really didn't enjoy it that much. It's such a shame as this book has fantastic representation. It's got trans representation, it's got anxiety representation, ADHD, bisexuality, gay characters. It's got so much representation that I really wanted to love this one. However, it just fell really flat for me. I didn't really see any chemistry between the main two characters, unfortunately, despite it being a romance. I thought maybe baseball is just not a sport that I'm really that interested in. It's not a sport we have here in the UK. However, we don't have ice hockey here in the UK, and the ice hockey romances that I've read I've absolutely loved, so I don't think it's a sports romance thing. I just don't think I connected to these characters. Also, it's meant to be rivals to lovers, and I just really didn't understand what their rivalry was based on, and it never was really explained. So I don't know, it just wasn't for me, and so I ended up giving this one a 2-star. And then the other update I thought I'd share with you is this morning I got the May Romantasy FairyLoot box, so I thought I'd share with you what I received. If you haven't got the book yet, or you're worried about spoilers, then I'll leave a timestamp on screen so you can skip to that part so you don't get spoiled. But if you're not worried about spoilers, or you've already received the book, then of course you will know that it is A Curse of Blood and Wolves by Melissa McTurnan. I've got a little bit of mixed thoughts on this cover. I do like it, but I'm not always a big fan of character artwork on the cover. I do think the colours are really pretty and a little bit different. I like the little pops of red, so there you have it, that's the front cover. Then we have some beautiful sprayed edges. This is the back with a wolf, so I imagine it's a werewolf themed romance. That is the spine if anyone is interested. Then we have some beautiful end paper art, and then these are the end papers at the end, and hopefully you can see that there's a bit of foiling on the end papers. I always think that FairyLoot really kill it with their end papers, they're always so pretty. I also really like what they've done with the naked hardcover. So this is the naked hardcover, spine, and then the back. This is just really beautiful. And then we also have a reversible dust jacket, which I think is quite a nice touch, although it does seem a little bit simplistic to me, and I think I do prefer the FairyLoot cover despite not being a particular fan of character artwork on the front cover. It is also worth noting that it is signed as well. We also got some beautiful character artwork with the author letter on the other side. As I've said before, I do much prefer that we get the separate artwork rather than a bound-in author letter, so I'm really pleased that they've started doing this again. And also, of course, we've got the monthly spoiler card. So in terms of the synopsis for this one, can you be drawn to someone you've never met? When Ruby feels the eyes of a stranger in the woods, she knows she should be scared, that she should run away, but she can't. Instead, she feels a thrill, feels drawn to the stranger who follows her into the woods, yearns for his eyes on her every night as she walks home, hoping to hear the crunch of leaves under her feet that signals he's there. Will he ever reveal himself? I don't know about that synopsis. It's giving me like weird stalker vibes, and I don't know. I know that's maybe quite common with wolf or werewolf related books potentially, but yeah, I don't know if that's for me, but I would be definitely picking this one up and giving it a go as a part of my May subscription box reading vlog, or again, whatever I'm going to call that. So I will definitely be sharing my thoughts on that, as well as within my June wrap up. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, it will be in either of those videos. In terms of my next book, and the last book I'm going to be reading as part of this vlog, that is To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X Chang, and this is the April Illumicrate book. So just to run you through the synopsis of this one quite quickly. Heroes die, cowards live. For as long as Yang Ruing has been alive, the empire of Erlang has been occupied by Romans, who mercilessly defeated the magic of her people. Now the invaders' advanced science, technology and military make them gods, but Ruing is special, having been blessed by death and born with the ability to pull life out of mortal bodies. When Antony, the second prince of Rome, uncovers Ruing's power, he offers her an impossible deal. If she becomes his private assassin and eliminates his political rivals, her family will be protected. Can Ruing trust this prince whose promises of a better world make her heart ache, and whose smiles make her pulse beat faster? Are the evils of their agreement really in the service of a much greater good? Or will she betray her entire nation to guard those she loves the most? So yeah, I'm quite intrigued to pick this one up. I think it was the one I was least intrigued of out of the pile, but I'm gonna give it a go and I'll come back to you once I have some thoughts. I realised I also forgot to update you that we went to the cinema last night on a bit of an impromptu cinema cinema date, and we went to see The Fall Guy, which is the new movie with Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling, and it was actually so good. It was incredibly funny. The music choices were so good, including some Taylor Swift for my fellow Swifties, and it definitely felt like a complete love letter to filmmaking, and yeah, it was just fantastic. So I would highly recommend you go and see that if you haven't already. So I've now finished work. I ended up working a little bit late as I was working on some delivery content. If you didn't know this about me, I work for a training provider, and a big part of my role is curriculum development, and it's something that I really enjoy. So yeah, I accidentally worked late just because I was just in the zone. But yeah, now that I finished work, my plans this evening are definitely to get lots of reading done. I think Beth from Books Nest is hosting some sprints, so I'm hoping to attend those. I do need to edit a video for Thursday. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow because I am kind of in the mood to read. Another thing I forgot to update you guys on is I'm not reading Evernight as part of this vlog. I don't know if I've actually explained this. I plan on doing a whole separate vlog on Evernight because I haven't actually seen any dedicated videos towards the Evernight subscription other than people just unboxing the books, but I haven't heard people talk about whether they like the book, whether it's a subscription that they'd recommend. So I thought it could be kind of fun to do a reading vlog where I read all of the Evernight books I currently own and rank them. That will be coming as part of a video later on, but I'm gonna stop waffling and I'll come back to you once I have some thoughts on To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods. Hi guys, it's now Wednesday and I do actually have a reading update for you. So last night I started To Gaze Upon Wicked Gods by Molly X Chang, and I started this while I was on Gav from Gav Reads It All's sprints. Like I've said before, I always find that sprints are a really good way for me to motivate myself to read. If I'm being honest, I was really nervous about starting this one as I've heard really mixed things and I've heard a bit of controversy around this book, so I was a little bit concerned about going into it. I think a lot of the controversy stems from the subject matter and also how there can be a romance element given the subject matter. However, I'm not too sure whether the people saying these things have actually read the book, so I just didn't want to just not read the book because of the things that people are saying. I wanted to read the book and then form my own opinion. So starting this book, there is actually quite a lengthy author letter, and also the author dedicates this book to her grandparents for the stories that they have shared, and then she talks about how their stories have inspired this. I thought I'd briefly read out the dedication. So it says, "To my grandparents for the stories that inspired this book and for always reminding me that if our ancestors could survive the harshest winters known to man, genocide after genocide, famine and war, then I can survive anything. Memories of you gave me the courage to keep going, even when publishing this book felt like death by 1,000 cuts." And then, like I say, there's quite a lengthy author letter where the author explains that she took inspiration from Unit 731, and they say stories of stealing misbehaving children from their beds to conduct experiments on, and that her grandfather was actually from that particular area where all of this was happening. So to learn more about this, I did a little bit of research into what Unit 731 actually was, and it sounds absolutely horrific, and I can't believe that this isn't talked about more. But basically it was a covert biological and chemical warfare research and development unit of the Imperial Japanese Army that engaged in lethal human experimentation and biological weapons manufacturing, and that was between 1937 and 1945, and it killed an estimated 200,000 to 300,000 people, so it was a mass genocide. And like I say, I just can't believe that this isn't talked about more widely, or that it isn't more well known. I had no idea about this before, you know, that this was brought to my attention through this book. And also when I kept reading, it is absolutely horrific and horrible, and the more you read it, the more horrible and horrendous it gets. So I can immediately see what the author is trying to do in terms of bringing some of this to light and also bringing more awareness to it. I think as long as this subject is obviously dealt with very sensitively and in the right way, I think it's a good thing. And I would imagine the author does try and deal with it very sensitively because of the connection to her grandparents. And they also talk about, you know, what if those people that were involved in that they had magic to be able to fight back? Would that have changed things? And I think it's thinking from that perspective. So in terms of the actual book, so it's fit within a fictional world called Pangu, which is a paradise where magic and humanity lived in harmony. Rome was from another realm made of machinery and science. So in the beginning they came over and they pretended to be nice and they got them to sign a peace treaty, but then fast forward to where we're now at, the city has been split into half and there's Roman soldiers with guns stopping people from doing certain things or going into certain areas. Our main character has the ability to pluck, I think that's how we pronounce it. I don't know if that's something that comes from some folk tales or mythology, because I've heard of that term quite a few times. But anyway, she can pluck that from people's bodies, leaving just their corpse behind, so she can kind of suck, I guess it's their soul from their bodies. However, she's very aware that she can't, you know, she could do that to one or two people, but she can't do that to the whole Roman Empire. She also talks about her own family's connections in terms of how they're controlling people through the use of opium and people getting addicted to that and then desperate, and then the Roman Empire controlling people in that way, which when reading up about Unit 731 I can sort of see the connection and why the author has gone in that way. The author then talks about there's these 3 princes, and I just, at this point I'm like, I don't understand how there can be a romance in this when they explain, you know, the world, the conflict, absolutely how harrowing and awful everything is. I just don't understand how there can be a romance in the mix, so I'm really hoping that there isn't a romance, although I think there might be. And now we've also been introduced to her childhood best friend, who basically pretends he's Roman, or he dresses in that way, he's done his hair in that way, and he's also the right hand of one of the princes, so one of the Roman princes, and he wants our main character to use those powers to assassinate the current emperor because he's related to them somehow, so that he can then come into power. And you can kind of tell that there's some affection to our main character between the two of them, but like I said, I just really don't want a romance. I just don't think it's appropriate, but I guess we will see what happens. And yeah, I will keep you updated on what my thoughts are, how the story progresses, like I said, whether I feel like it's been handled sensitively, if there is a romance, how that kind of works without giving away too many spoilers in case you do want to read it and you are interested. It also is quite a difficult read because of all the horrible things that are going on. I would say writing style, it's quite easy to follow and it is very engaging writing style, so I would say from that perspective I think it's well written. But yeah, as I said, I will come back to you and let you know some more of my thoughts. Hi guys, it's actually Saturday. Apologies for not updating the vlog. I was feeling quite unwell this week, so wasn't really in the mood to vlog, but I did end up finishing To Gaze Upon a Wicked Gods and I thought I'd share my thoughts with you. So overall I rated this book 4 stars, but I did write some thoughts down in my book journal and I thought I'd share them with you. So my Captain America notebook has become my accidental book journal. So throughout the book the main character makes loads of questionable decisions and she claims it's because she has no choice, but I would argue that there is always a choice. I also wrote, I feel like it's moving towards a love interest and the author has tried to justify it and make out the character isn't so bad. He's gone through hardship, but it's still a love interest that makes me feel very uncomfortable and I don't want it to go down that route. Then I said, I've just got to a bit of the plot twist and a change of direction. One character isn't who I thought he was and has different motivations, and I have a theory or two as to how this is going to play out. It's really interesting reading this back. And then I also wrote, the main character is intolerable. I'm finding it hard to root for her. Oh my god, horrendous things are staring the main character in the face and she just ignores them. I also wrote down that it reminded me quite a lot of Guild. If you've read Guild by Raven Kennedy, it kind of gave me similar vibes. I'd be interested to know whether you've read both of the books, whether you can see what I mean. Overall, I think this book had an interesting concept. It definitely kept me guessing. I did like the direction that we took towards the end of the book, so I think I am interested in reading the sequel. However, I think it's worth acknowledging that the subject matter was absolutely horrific at times and it did make a really difficult read. It really saddens me that this is inspired by true events. I just can't believe that this was allowed to happen. In terms of the controversy around this book. I would definitely say that this is in no way a romance, and I don't think it should ever be seen or marketed as a romance. The very thought of this being a romance is just so problematic to me in so many ways. However, from what I've seen from the author, they describe this as a fantasy / psychological thriller, which I can sort of see where they're coming from. I do have mixed opinions of that, but yeah, as I said, this should in no way be classed as a romance. So there we have it. Those are all the books that I read this week for my subscription box wrap up. I'm really sorry it's been a bit of a disjointed vlog this week. As I said, unfortunately I was poorly during the week, so that meant that it was quite disjointed. I hope you still enjoyed the vlog. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.